This video is intended for anyone in the Twinflame collective. Energies may be vice versa. For the sake of transparency, the terms divine masculine and divine feminine are used to identify you and your twin. Please don't take offense. Also, time is fluid, and the events in this reading may be experienced in the past, present, or future. Predictions are never set in stone, as all parties involved have free will. As always, thank you for allowing me to read for you. Hi twins, welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. This is your twin flame reading for the collective for the month of May. So the energy in your relationship, the state of your relationship right now is the Page of Pentacles. So this is that message that some of my divine feminine have been waiting for, and some of you probably have kind of given up on in the months that I've been reading for you. A lot of you were over it. And the main reason that that's happening is because you can't tell for a lot of you if your twin is your twin or if you're going to be together in this life. I feel like with this addictions card, that often represents the devil. So it doesn't have to be anything that is just toxic, but it could be something where it's like you're trying to decide if this is a karmic connection or a karmic partner, or if this is actually your twin, right? And I feel like the both of you are kind of doing the same thing over the month of May. And I'm saying this because you, divine feminine, and I'm kind of speaking to you right now, but I will talk to the divine masculine in a minute. The way you're viewing the relationship is as the Queen of Wands in the upright. So this is you getting into a place where you have learned everything that you feel like you can kind of learn from this at this time. This relationship has changed you, right? So you're in a space of now you're very guarded against this masculine energy. And even though there is still that passion or that attraction, you've got a new self-awareness. So this is your energy in the sense that you're very hesitant to move something forward with your person because you're not the same person that you were when you met them in the beginning, right? And what's interesting is this Fool is actually the underlining kind of energy of your reading for the month of May. And that's coming after a lot of major arcanas here. So for some of you, you've actually watched your masculine move on to someone else or go back to a karmic partner because they were indecisive. And it looks like that didn't work out for them so well. Now, if you're still in the process of waiting to see that kind of fall apart in May, this is looking like for some of you, there's even separations or divorces. This has been a real issue with your masculine being stuck with this karmic situation, right? And meanwhile, there's this divine love over here, but what's really in the middle of that is this stagnant energy of having the situation just drag on with this other person and this really being unfair, right? With the Justice in the reverse, though, along with the Death in the reverse, this is the masculine's energy coming into a new awareness about not only how silly this has kind of been to drag this on with this karmic partner, but they're starting to really awaken to what this divine love has been, right? So the new energy now is starting fresh. But how do you start fresh? And that's kind of what will be the questions on a lot of your minds this month for May. Because even though this energy is reaching out, it looks like it's the masculine energy here, right? The feminine's been waiting and manifesting. The masculine may have been waiting for the feminine to reach out. But this is showing me that the feminine energy is not budging. You're not making a move for you feminine. Hard part is masculine is also in the Hanging Man energy for the month of May. So this is him not doing a whole lot either, right? He's put himself in an odd situation, and now it's like he's kind of waiting for things to pan out. The feminine wants to see action, right? Masculine is just kind of holding off, waiting. But in this period of him waiting, he's also starting to take a look at what he's been tied to, what he's been holding on to. His karmic partner could have betrayed him recently, and that's kind of what came through at the bottom of the deck. But there's been some sort of epiphany here where he's starting to really understand this connection. And I think that has a lot to do with him looking out into the future and then looking at what he's been through in the past. And he's trying to stick by his decision. I feel like for a lot of you feminine, your masculine has not been in communication with you. So he was trying to kind of This is almost the energy of like leaving you and then leaving the karmic and then choosing this new life that he's on his way to. But as he's moving forward, he's realizing that that might not have been the best idea, right? Tell me about the feminine's energy for May. King of Wands reverse, very interesting. So this energy literally, I mean, and you could be dealing with a fire sign or be a fire sign yourself, but this energy is literally the feminine making the choice to choose herself over a relationship that she can't tell if it's toxic or not, because this would be her divine counterpart, right? So this is you feminine being in a space of feeling like if this person can't come to you correctly and really give you what you deserve or you desire, regardless of the energy you feel between the two of you or the connection that you have, you don't care. You're just like, I'll do something else, right? Let's get a clarifier for our masculine. So he's stuck. Masculine, I feel like had this big, bold idea to leave the feminine and that he was going to manifest all this newness into his life. But this talks about having that pull back to somebody, and all of these cards for how the masculine is viewing the relationship. He can't move, right? 6 of Swords in the reverse. That's him going back. And he's probably with the swords replaying in his mind the last conversation that you had. So with this energy going back to the 5 of Swords, this is talking about a lot of mind games, or, maybe there was an argument is kind of what this is looking like. This is him just replaying this in his mind over and over. Tell me more about that. All right. So he's getting into a space where he's feeling like the time is up. There's no more second chances in this situation. He is trying to process this as like an ending, but he can't seem to move on. And I feel like with the masculine energy, initially, maybe he even said something that really kind of made you feminines quite upset, right? But now it's like, okay, I thought about this. I tried to move on with my life. I can't move past replaying in my mind over and over our conversations. Suddenly, he's the one who's feeling quite heartbroken about this connection through the month of May, whereas the feminine is really stepping into herself and her power and not willing to, you're probably ignoring your masculine for the simple fact that masculine energy has made you feel like you're just waiting around, right? Because this 3 of Wands talks a lot about waiting. Tell me anything else for the state of the relationship for the month of May. Okay, so there's a lot of really stubborn energy. This is coming to an end, this energy of like kind of shutting one another out. You're both still holding on to this, but at the same time, you're off kind of apart from one another, just collecting your thoughts almost. And the masculine's getting to a space where even though he's been kind of stuck, the feminine is moving, right? And so he knows he needs to do something different because he's going to end up losing his feminine if he doesn't make that new choice, right? And that's why that Fool energy is at the bottom of the deck after Justice, because this is the decision that was made, but it was the wrong decision. And so now how do you reset time, right? I wanted to pull some cards to see what our feminine and masculine energy is doing now, because we see how they're viewing the relationship. I think for you feminine, you've gotten into a really good place. And even though you're hurt or you're frustrated, you're still looking at this like, I needed this to become the person that I am today. Or without this experience, I wouldn't know myself or be able to assert my boundaries. So I feel like you're trying to be very optimistic, feminine, and kind of, take what you can from the situation because it's not going the way that you would like, right? So let's pull a card to see what each of our energies are doing for the month. And then I'll get into the cards down here and let you know, what is our feminine doing this month? Okay, what is our masculine doing this month? Yeah, so masculine is just very in this space of trying to ruminate on everything that happened. I feel like for some of you, your masculines have a habit of like shutting down, shutting everybody out, and just replaying things over and over in their mind in a way that's not necessarily productive. With the Hanging Man and the Hermit, though, this is talking about there actually being a change, which is kind of nice, because if you have the kind of masculine where you feel like everything you say to him just doesn't matter, or he doesn't like get it, right, or gets really agitated, this is him actually going within and sitting there taking the time to think about everything you've told him and focusing on that and how he made you feel, and really looking into his own actions, right? And I feel like that's a huge part of why he's not moving forward right now, is because part of him is genuinely feeling embarrassed, right? So let's pull a clarifier for our feminine, because this King of Cups could be your masculine. This could also be a new energy. I feel like for you feminine, you're trying really hard to heal so that you can open your heart to someone else. But at the same time, with that addiction card, you feel that pull towards your masculine. And so it's very hard to get into a space where you feel like you want to meet somebody new or you want to date someone. It's like you've finally gotten into a place where you know what you deserve and you're ready to go after it. But with the way the situation has been, I feel like for a lot of you, you're trying to heal yourselves before you move on to someone else. You don't want to move into anything toxic, but it's also very hard when you've come into union with your twin to move on to someone else. It's not that easy to just, that's exactly it, to just pick up and be like, oh, no big deal, I'm just going to go find somebody. It doesn't really work like that in these connections. So you could be feminine trying very hard to kind of shut off a part of your heart with this Six of Pentacles in the reverse, because we go back to the energy of the 5. I feel like you want to move on with someone that's healthy or that is able to give you what you want. But at the same time, it's like if you're going to give your time to somebody, there's nobody else you would rather give your time to. And so that's kind of the blockage for you, feminine, is how do you move on from this connection when you know that this person isn't really doing anything to give you any kind of like stability, right? With the Page of Pentacles, though, this does talk about a message of stability coming in and a message of commitment. So energetically, like I was saying, I think your masculines know that you're in a place of looking for something else, right? You're starting to shut yourself off emotionally to the masculine energy. And I think that they feel that. And now they're trying to kind of devise an idea or a plan of like, how do we get back to at least square one so we can talk about what was toxic in our relationship. Clarify this Hermit for me. What is the masculine energy thinking about through the month of May, please? Okay. So they're trying to figure out how they can make things work with that Justice that did come out in the reverse, right? Now they want to be able to kind of set things right after the way that they treated you. They feel as though they've left you in such a way that there's not a whole lot they can do, because, wow, they've literally realized that nothing in this situation is going to change until they step forward and make things right. Because you're not interested in just having a casual relationship with them anymore. It's too much of a burden. You're not interested in giving constantly to yourself or of yourself to them when they're not reciprocating, right? So this is literally the feminine energy turning him down, the masculine, and him really thinking about like, wow, I didn't change. And even when I continued to treat my feminine that way, she still showed up for me, right? For some of you, this person, your masculine's environment has been a huge deciding factor about how he dealt with his situation. Could even be that now he's still kind of asking friends or family about you, what he should do. And I think that whatever information they're giving him, he's also starting to see that some of these people really didn't have his best intentions in mind. And that too could be part of that addiction, as like, I want to move forward. My family doesn't approve, or my friends say whatever. What about this relationship has been toxic? Has it always been my feminine, or is it actually me, or is it my surroundings, right? So looking into the energy of how the feminine is viewing the relationship, we had apology come out. So she's waiting on an apology and standing her ground. She may be wanting to give an apology, but I don't really get that vibe. I feel like the feminine is really ready to hear what the masculine has to say. You know, what do you have to say for yourself? What have you been doing in my absence? What have you figured out about this connection? You know, and it could be that the feminine is feeling as though she's honestly in a space of wanting to apologize to him. Like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I just can't do this anymore. Right. So that would be the kind of apology that the feminine would be giving in the month of May. But I feel more as though she's wanting that from her masculine. Now, for the masculine energy, for how he's viewing the relationship, we have attraction. And so this is what I was talking about, where he's feeling that pull. And maybe the two of you have been feeling it stronger than ever lately because you're drifting further and further apart. And so Spirit is trying to kind of like reactivate that energy. So you have to keep finding your way back to one another, even if you're thinking like this is over, or there's just been too much time, or there's too much damage to the situation, right? Let me have a card for apology for how my feminines are viewing the relationship. Yeah, you or she, depending on who you are watching, is mad, right? And rightfully so, because it seems like these two cards right here, it's like, I've given you the best of me. I've given you all of me. And you really treated this like a game. You know, I don't understand why it's so easy for you to love everyone else, but you can't find it in your schedule or in your heart to love me, right? So feminine is really in a space of wanting some answers this month. Masculine's got attraction. So let's see what he's talking about or how he's viewing the relationship. The Emperor. So I feel like with this energy, this is him, like I was saying, starting to really wake up to the connection. He knows that he is being pulled back to the feminine because he's finally starting to kind of feel it and understand, like, I can't just so easily replace my feminine. This isn't the kind of connection that I can just walk away from like I do with my karmic all the time and then I go back. This is something that I can't shake, right? So now here's this masculine energy who's starting to wake up to actually who he is, but he's getting into a place where he really wants to step up for the feminine. Now, if he'll do that, we will take a look, because right now he's in two major arcanas of just kind of hanging around and thinking, right? He knows there's a decision to make. He knows he has an opportunity to end something. He'd like to integrate his feminine into his life, but he's not sure what that will look like, okay? Now, the next pile we're looking at is what the Divine Feminine wants. Eight of Pentacles. So literally, this is her wanting him to get his act together. Are you going to put work into this situation? Are you safe to invest in my time, my everything? Because with this Page of Pentacles, this is a risk, right? And this is literally risking your time, your heart, your everything. This is a gamble with addictions. And that's how the feminine is feeling, right? The masculine, though, his energy is different. Whereas the feminine's looking at the situation like, is this even worth the risk? Because I feel like I always lose when I gamble with you, right? With him, he's looking at this like, I can't seem to walk away from this connection and I don't understand why, right? So I feel like that's part of why he's really just stuck right now. Feminine, though, has a card that says you moved on so easily. And whether you've watched your masculine move on with someone else or just move on alone, I feel like for a lot of you, your masculine is just by himself and not necessarily with a karmic partner. For some of you, probably like a smaller percentage is what it feels like. This Page of Pentacles and Addictions does talk about the karmic, but I don't feel like for the majority of you that really is the case. If your masculine is looking like he's doing something else, I promise you, with the two cards that are coming out being not only major arcanas, but two cards that talk about solitude, it's not what it looks like, right? So feminine is trying really hard to assess the situation. She wants to see the masculine kind of break the cycles that have been perpetuated throughout the relationship. She's ready to see something new. This also talks about her wanting the masculine to be the one to reach out, right? What are you doing? Talk to me. Tell me why you miss me. Tell me why you're here. Feminine is taking a very powerful stance. She's not in a space of being the messenger in this at all, but it does look like there's a message coming in. This looks like it would be something tangible, right? So a text message, an email, probably not a phone call, but possibly. This, however, could even be a visit, someone showing up at your house, right? For the masculine's energy, what he wants is the Knight of Swords. So he's taking his break and he's kind of in hermit mode. But what he's wanting is to literally like shoot out of that like a cannonball out of a cannon and come find his feminine. Because if you look, he's even running over to the side of the feminine's energy, right? And this is like, oh my gosh, I have a new idea. I figured it out. I need to talk to you. This is suddenly the energy of being very clear and concise and focused and knowing what he'd like to say and kind of having figured out what this connection means to him, right? Now, something he would like you to know or what he would be feeling or speaking to you is, I'm afraid you don't want me, and I try to smile. So like I was saying, for you feminines who are like, wow, you moved on so easily. Don't you look like you're having a great life? In reality, he's not, right? Because this is from his own like 5D consciousness saying, I'm trying to smile, right? But in all honesty, I don't, right? I don't feel that way inside. Now, for your oracle cards, the feminine has beginnings in the reverse for what she's wanting. This is, again, with that hesitancy that I was kind of seeing. She doesn't want to just jump off the bridge with you and be like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go for this. This is feeling like I need to protect my heart. I need to make sure that you're safe, right? That you're actually going to show up, that you're going to put in the work. The thing, though, is with this beginnings, this is also talking about addressing the way things ended last time around. Because if you recall, we have this 3 of Swords, right? So are you really done with your karmic? And why did you hurt me? Or why did you leave? With this Knight of Swords, this often talks about somebody who's ghosted you returning. So feminine is going to want answers and really to address that ending before she's willing to somehow just pretend like nothing happened, right? Masculine actually wants confinement. So not to laugh, but this is probably why this Page of Pentacles is coming out, because it's not cuffing season anymore. But if he's been sitting in quarantine by himself, right, and doing all this thinking, or if he works in an industry where they're not allowing workers to go to work, well, look at this. Now he's had all this time to think, and he's had this bright idea that he wants to come find feminine. Confinement also speaks to, suddenly I want a relationship. Suddenly I want you to hold on to me. I want to be the only person in your life. And, him coming in and really communicating, hey, can we have a fresh start, right? Because even though this Justice is in the reverse, this goes back to the energy of the Wheel of Fortune. So again, that's like, this is all in divine timing, as frustrating as it is, but this had to happen first so that it could move forward, because he needed to have this revelation. These are all major arcanas on his side for him, outside of what he is wanting. For feminine, there are none. Right? Feminine's not in a place of having some grand epiphany about what she wants. She wanted it. She knew what she wanted when she saw the masculine, right? Masculine is the one that's just now waking up to the connection. Now, with the beginnings also in the reverse, this is feminine wanting to try to do something new, but also feeling like, I don't want to do anything with anyone but this person. So I wish they would just get their life together, right? Now, the blockage here is the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse and conversations. And that's exactly it. But thankfully, the masculine is in a space of really wanting to communicate. He's just not doing a whole lot, right? Not right now. Blockage, though, is this literally you moving forward, but looking at the past. How do we move this forward when it hasn't gone anywhere for so long? We need to have some open and honest conversation about this. And if you look at this picture, this woman is literally looking at him like, what are you going to do? Right? He still doesn't know. So that's part of the blockage for the month of May. How does this move forward? And is it going to move in a way that I feel safe enough to invest in you? Right? Masculine, you're going to have to try to figure out how you can move the situation forward. But this is actually a good energy because this is you seizing an opportunity that if you don't act quickly, you very well may miss. I'm going to pull you some oracle cards for anyone watching. Tell me what my viewers need to know. And then we'll take it over to the extended reading. We're going to see about how the divine feminine is feeling for the divine masculine in the month of May. We're also going to take a look at what she'll do and what she thinks the masculine feels and like how that's affecting her decisions. We're going to look at the outcome of the relationship, but we're going to look at everything I talked about also for the divine masculine as well. So we'll be looking at his feelings for his feminine, how he thinks his feminine is feeling, how that's affecting his actions, what his actions will be, and then the outcome for the month of May, because it looks like there's an offer of commitment. There's a conversation that's coming in very quickly, and with what he's wanting, maybe he will end up calling, but this almost looks more like somebody showing up at your house with all of these pentacles, or someone, trying to instant message you maybe. I feel like your masculines are going a little bit stir crazy right now. That's something I'm picking up on a lot, but they're staying in it, right? And really figuring it out and thinking about it. So we have independence. Decide for yourself, exercise your right to choose. Reflect, keep your eyes open. Joy lives in small places. Dreams, think big. There are unseen forces ready to support your dreams. For you feminine, I really feel like both of these are so accurate because it's like, you're just getting into a space where you're kind of giving up, and I don't blame you. I understand completely, right? I feel like this is huge though, because if you can't imagine your life with anyone else, right? You may have to shift your focus and start believing in this, because if you wouldn't be happy anywhere else, you can't give up on this either, as much as it's sucked, right? And this independence really does go back to kind of the masculine having, whether it's the karmic or environment, he needs to choose, right? Make his own choices. I feel like a lot of this time, if you've been in separation, really has been so he could work on his own independence. We have clearing. Clear the clutter. When in doubt, throw it out. Now, for those of you who are not expecting your masculine to show up at your house, I feel like that's kind of saying, clean your house, not to be funny, but this Knight of Swords, when he comes out, is very impulsive. And so it's like, if you've been in this space of feeling like, oh, I can't go outside, I don't brush my hair, I don't have to go to work, now would be probably a good time to address that, because you may get an unexpected visitor. But also that talks a lot about this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, right? What are we holding on to? How are we moving forward? What do we need to get rid of to be able to have the life that we want, right? So I'm going to take this over to the extended reading. I hope this was helpful for you. Good luck with this, and you take care. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye. But the hard part is you feel feminine that your masculine always goes back to the wrong person, always makes the wrong choice. And so it's becoming very frustrating, because the energy of the feminine is saying, don't you feel what I feel? Why is this so difficult to you? Why are you coming and going in my life and always leaving me feeling as though I'm your second choice? And this is really kind of that ultimatum of saying, I don't even want to say ultimatum, because for a lot of you feminine, this isn't even you being in a space of wanting your masculine to choose you. This is more you being like, why has this been so difficult? Why haven't you been able to understand this connection? Why are you so toxic to me? You just come and you go and you do what you want, but you have no regard for our connection or what I feel, right? And so this is the space that the feminine is in, where she feels very passionate and there's this really strong connection. But at the same time, it's like, okay, is this just about sex? Is this just about lust? What is this? For you, why are you here? Why do you keep coming back? Because you never stay. So what's the point, right? You don't feel what I feel. Need more tarot in your life? We've got you. It's our thing. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, or our website for awesome content that you will not find on YouTube. Also, when you subscribe, be sure to tap the bell notification so you never miss a reading. Divine Resolution Tarot loves you. If you love us back, leave a like and let us know. It makes us smile. Thank you so much for watching our videos and have an amazing day.